Hey everyone, so I want to take a little bit of time while we're waiting for UFC Paris, which is in a couple days at the time of recording this, to talk about like an interesting little like MMA kind of mindset towards one of the fighters, Jailton Almeida, who's I believe number 6 in the heavyweight rankings, who universally is deemed boring, as a lot of people saying that if he ever becomes champion, the division is dead. They're treating it, which I'm not saying that I haven't shared in some of these thoughts as well. I don't think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. Obviously, he's got grappling is a lot of times not as fun as striking. It can be, but, we have a lot of fighters who right now that aren't as entertaining when it comes to the grappling. Jailton Almeida, where at certain points in times he has been, I'm kind of a little bit, when I really think about it, kind of confused on this mindset, because he has actually, not in the UFC, but also in MMA in general, has only gone to a decision one time. He has one decision, has several KOs, TKOs, more submissions, really, strong, athletic dude, which, I'm looking at, people in the UFC heavyweight division, and I'm maybe try and be like that. Or try and be get as physical as Cyril Gane or Tom Aspinall, or that's really it. Wow, holy shit, we don't have a lot of athletic guys in the UFC's heavyweight division. That's how you know it's downhill. But he's a super athletic dude, fought at light heavyweight at one point, saw that he was, a lot more athletic and hardworking than a lot of the heavyweights, and said that'd be easier to get into top 15 and succeed there, which makes sense. I would agree to that. But the one fight, and it's the fight that I'm talking about, that is the reason I believe that this perception of Jailton Almeida as being boring, is the Derrick Lewis fight, which I'm going to say right off the bat is a very boring fight. It's actually incredibly boring. It's impressive at how much his grappling in that fight, his control time, his ability to hold Derrick Lewis on the ground and really just not let him have an inch in that fight. Issue is, it was incredibly boring. There was not really much from Derrick Lewis in the fight in terms of his offense, which part of it was he really just couldn't do anything of it. But maybe we were also talking about Jailton Almeida is going to submit him quickly, because this was, I believe, Derrick Lewis was on a 1-fight win streak after snapping his many fight losing streak, or however many fights he had at that point. But the most insane thing about this entire perception from this fight, obviously it's the 5 rounds of boring grappling from him, not really getting much. And I did not enjoy the fight. I thought the fight was incredibly boring, but it is not the fight that made me, I'm kind of out of it right now. But when after that fight is kind of an outlier in his career, because obviously we had that, and then the only other thing I'd say was maybe the follow-up with Curtis Blaydes, where he ended up losing, where he really just could not mount anything as he tried to hold on to him and grab him, take him to the ground, and he ended up getting TKO'd for that. So 2 fights in a row that really messed up the perception of him. One, just because it was, I believe he had 10 or 11 minutes of control time in that 5-round fight, and then got TKO'd trying to hold on to Curtis Blaydes. So perception of it's not good. And it's also, the other part is where some people might be yeah, he has a lot of finishes, but he really drags out. Not really. He's TKO'd people in the first and second round in the UFC, at least, which is what should be the most relevant viewing of his career in terms of whether he's entertaining or boring or whatever. He really doesn't have any. I don't think he might have 1 third-round finish, but he finishes guys quickly of it. He takes it to the ground and he submits, he gets out there. There's a sense of danger to him. So I'm kind of intrigued by the fact that there's this perception that this guy is like Bilal Muhammad when it comes to grappling, or Merab Dvalishvili, where there's not really much damage being done. He gets finishes, he does all that stuff. He's KO'd, he's TKO'd people. Usually it's on the ground following up stuff, but it still counts. But it's kind of a shocking little thing I was thinking about, and I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on that, as I don't think Jailton has a fight scheduled. Honestly, I'd want to see him fight Sergey Spivak. I feel like that'd be an interesting fight. Both of them are coming off of a win now. They've bounced back from a loss. Both grapplers. Get rid of one of the grapplers in the division of it. or have one be the more superior one, not get rid of it. You get what I mean? But, you know, I gave like a little fight prediction. That's kind of what I want to see in the future. But that's really